I'm in London today, and a small stationery shop reminded me why writing still matters in this chapter. Not as nostalgia, but as a quiet, grounding practice. Now, if you've noticed feeling scattered, restless, or maybe slightly disconnected from your own voice, this conversation is for you. Somewhere along the way, many women stop writing by hand. Isn't that interesting? Not because they decided to, but because life got faster. And I think we underestimate what we lose when that happens. So, this episode isn't about stationery, even though I'll show you some of my favorites in this, incredibly cool shop in London. It's not about being productive or fixing yourself. It's about clarity, and it's about staying connected to your own thinking as you age. Because when we stop writing by hand, this is so interesting to me. We don't just lose a habit, we lose a way of processing our lives. Hello, my friends. I'm Sharri Harmel, and this is Your Next Chapter, where we talk about creating a life that feels intentional and feels grounded and deeply your own, especially in midlife. We're going to go to London today, as I said, and I'm about to step into one of my favorite places. It's a stationery shop called Choosing Keeping. And I have to warn you, I might mess up because I often call it keeping choosing. And I keep saying you have to choose before you can keep. That's the name, Choosing Keeping. And we're going there not necessarily to shop, but to slow down. Because places like this remind us that how we think often depends on how much space we give ourselves to think. And what I love about this shop is how quiet it feels. Even though it can sometimes, when a few times I've been there actually, it's been filled with people, there's something quiet about it. Nothing is rushed, nothing is shouting for attention. Your packages are wrapped up beautifully, whatever it is that you happen to buy. And every object in the shop feels chosen, not trendy, not disposable, but meant to be kept. Yes. And that word matters to me, and I know it does to you too in this chapter of our lives. I don't want more things. None of us do, right? I want fewer things, but those things have to hold meaning. Stationery does that. It's crazy. It asks us to pause. It asks us to think before we write. I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you get on a computer and you just start typing away or on your phone and you're texting, you're not even thinking before you write. But if you put a piece of paper down with a pen and you're sitting at a desk, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? So we think before we write when we're using pen and paper, and we stay long enough with our thoughts to hear what's really there. So let's go in. I'll show you a video now of the last time I was in London and inside the shop choosing keeping. Okay, we are at the most fabulous little shop called Choosing Keeping. Don't you love that? Love that. I always call it keeping choosing, and it's the other way around. And they are set up for Christmas this time. Last time I looked at it, it was Halloween. Very funny. Okay, let's get a little closer so you can see. Their papers. E.T. That brings back memories, doesn't it? We'll see. Let's go on in. Made in Japan. That's a big old eraser. Gonna love it.
These look like something from an old movie. Very cool. Personal. Go see what's over here. Do not open the ink bottles. Of course not. A lot of Japanese. It's very interesting because I would have guessed calligraphy. It's beautiful. Look at these. Just the bottles alone are beautiful. Love it. There's the boxes. This just goes to show what Instagram and social media does to a shop. Years ago, I went into this shop and there was nobody here. Aren't those special? And here is the wax. Look at that. Japanese colors. This is not wax. This is paint. Watercolors. Isn't this cool? But look at 1930s. Are these the colors of each year? Yes. And then you have the seasons. Interesting. Because this is the watercolor paper. Beautiful. I love these. Beautiful pens. Very pretty. Swedish post-war. Interesting. Look at these. How do they make it stiff? I don't know. I think this looks like John Darien, yeah. Decoupage, paperweights. Do not want to bring him with me back to Boston. These are nice because they kind of flop open. Travel notes. Oh, look at this. Something else. Add to our addictions, right? That's very interesting. Sketchbook. These are beautiful. Very small, but beautiful. Everything you could imagine. I don't know what they mean by felt pen, but I think they mean we got wrapping paper. Oh. Woo. It's beautiful. Paints. Pastels. Japanese pastels based on the French soft pastel production methods. Oh, look at these. Oh, Lord. Isn't that incredible? You want an office like this. I do anyways. Look at those boxes. Oh, these are good. It's an interesting calendar. Can you imagine being able to doodle like that?
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that because in midlife, many of us are shedding layers. We're shedding layers of expectations, of roles, of noise. And what's often left inside is the quieter question: what do I actually think? What do I want to remember? What matters enough to me to actually write it down? Handwriting slows the mind. It turns thinking into something physical. Isn't that interesting? It creates a moment of presence, and presence is something many of us are craving. Now, you saw some of the wax seals in Choosing Keeping, and wax seals hold so much history and symbolism. I am a little bit obsessed. But today, I think, because we don't need wax seals, to like send mail, secure mail, or any of that. But what wax seals today say is that whatever I send you or I send myself matters enough for me to slow down to actually do the wax seal. It marks intention, it signals care, it turns a simple note into something, I don't know, really special, something almost like ceremonial. In a world where most things are sent and forgotten in seconds, we just hit send, don't we? A sealed letter feels like a declaration. And I think in this chapter of life, we're craving that. We're craving those moments that feel deliberate and worthy of our attention. So, as you all know, I think I've talked about wax seals before, but I have bought a number of, I think I can show you here. I have bought a number of different boxes of different kinds of seals. And I also have a big box that I keep on hand, which inside are all my goodies, all my wax sealed goodies, the candles, the melting things, the really cool waxes that I adore. And I think I learned from a gal, if any of you are into to wax seals, there's a gal in England by the name of Catherine Hastings, and I will put her information down below. She's just starting these retreats where you learn about wax seals, you maybe practice wax seals. I will find out because I signed up for the one that's in New York City. But she called, I bring her up because she called these little things at the end pennies. And I had never heard that phrase before. And I actually checked it out online and I can't find anywhere that it's called a penny, but see, they actually unscrew. And so you're using the stick, but you have many different penny options. I didn't realize this, but in the old days, signet rings actually were the pennies. And so a person or a man, and typically, could put his stamp into a wax seal so that someone would know it actually was them, which is very cool. But wax seals come in all different kinds of colors. This was something I ordered over the holidays. You will find them at Bon Marché in Paris. You will find them at Choosing Keeping in London. You can find them online. Very, very fun. But we're not just into wax seals, right? We're also into the pens and the pencils that we use. And you know what? I'm going to go grab it because I forgot to show you a pencil that I absolutely love. Okay, I went and checked out or picked up my pencils. These are the pencils I use. I use them all the time. They are called, I think you can see it, they are called Blackwing. And the white ones are the pearl version, I guess you'd want to say, of Black Wings. They also make some that are gray, and it has to do with the hardness of the lead in the pencil. And so some of them work really great if you're drawing or you like to do etchings. And I just love these. And I use pencils. I use pencils in my agenda. I use pencils in my when I make notes because I don't know why. It makes me feel more creative than with a pen. So, anyways, these are the pencils. I love them. I'd buy them on Amazon, believe it or not. They've been around forever. Again, they're called Black Wings. Next, are pens. And I don't really have a favorite pen, so I don't have anything to show you. But what I can say to you is that both the pen and the paper, or the pencil and the paper in the notebook, really matters because if something feels good for you to use it, you return to it, you go back to it. And returning to it is how habits are built. And, also if you're going to journal, if you're going to try to get into journaling, which is the absolute only way I can process. My journal is like my therapist. I don't know if any of you can relate, but when I get things down on paper, suddenly things become make sense and I can find I can sleep and all of those good things. But you have to like the pencil and the paper or the pen and the paper that you're using in the journal. Otherwise, if it's uncomfortable or if it doesn't feel pretty or elegant, you won't use it and then you will not journal. But one of the things I'm kind of thinking about exploring is calligraphy. And when I did the YouTube video on advent calendars, I talked about, and I think I can show you, I talked about the advent calendar that I had ordered. Isn't this beautiful? From, let's see, I think the backside's got the address here. It's Jenny and the Calligraphy Box team wish you a very Merry Christmas, and it's called the Calligraphy Box. That was a beautiful, beautiful advent calendar and really a fun thing to get started on. What I love about calligraphy is that it's kind of everything. It's like, so in this box, as an example, here's this beautiful pen. Isn't that just the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen? And then the nibs came in one of the little boxes. I haven't tried it yet, as you can tell, but this is my plan. This is my absolute plan because it's something that is calligraphy. How do I describe calligraphy? I'm rambling. Calligraphy is beautiful. Calligraphy is elegant. Calligraphy is words, words and symbols. So thoughts, names, initials, all those things that I think are really something special. And I get to use my hands. And that's something as I've gotten older, I realize is more and more important in order to keep my hands moving, my brain moving, the connection between my brain and my hands moving. But let me just show you something else, which I thought was so special. They send out something, and this was in the actual Advent calendar, which it's a complete They call it the Copper Place Calligraphy 2026 Advent Calendar. And so you put it on your desk, and each day has a different letter to try, or each week, I should say. So this, I'm just showing you one of the weeks, which is February, and you're practicing the letter E. So how absolutely beautiful is that? So again, it's reinforcing that daily invitation, shall we call it, to slow down, to practice your letters, and stay engaged with your hands and your attention. I can't show you all of the things in the box. This video would be way too long, but I thought it was really sweet because they gave me one with my name on it, and then they gave me some bookmarks that are blank so that once I'm confident, I might be able to do one and give it to someone special in my life. So fun, so unbelievably fun. You know, in this chapter of our lives, I think practices like this actually matter. You know, I went through this whole series on Substack where I went through 8 weeks of tiny habits, and it was all about practicing every single day. And some things I may not stick with, and some things are now a part of my everyday life because I see such amazing results from them. What do you think? Are there things that you're exploring in your life right now, or things that you want to explore, not with the intention to master it? I'm not going to be Catherine Hastings with her beautiful stamps. I am not going to be an expert calligrapher. No way. But something that it might be something that I enjoy. And so that's my question to you. What is it you want to explore or you are exploring? Not with the intention to master it, but just to enjoy it. Now, besides writing in journals, and I briefly mentioned this, there's the lost art of letter writing. And if you're not really ready to write people letters, write them to yourself. When I lived in Paris, all of those years, I wrote letters to myself on a regular basis and I actually mailed them. And you can do that from anywhere. How fun would that be? Write yourself letters, put a stamp on it, and send it to yourself. And what I found that by doing that, what actually I got out of it is actually writing the letter grounded me. You know, this was a period of transition. Yeah, I was in a different culture, post-divorce, post-working full-time. It was a very interesting time for me. It helped me, writing the letters helped me to listen instead of rushing around. And truly, the letters have become a really quiet record of that whole process for me. I have all of the letters and the postcards tied up with a ribbon, and I keep those in a very special place in my bedroom. And sometimes I go back and look at them. It's really quite a testimonial to how you evolve over time, how you've changed over time. And it's a memory of my Paris years because so much of it is about my everyday life. So stationery isn't nostalgic, it's relational. It connects you to the version of yourself who is paying attention to how you were feeling and how you were thinking and actually took the time to put it on paper. So if you're feeling restless, maybe a little bit reflective or quietly hopeful in this next chapter, I invite you to choose one small ritual that brings you back to yourself. It might not be calligraphy. It might not be waxing. It might not be writing a letter to yourself or writing in your journal. Whatever it is, it's all about finding something that you love doing. And maybe it's just simply about slowing down long enough to listen to yourself. In this chapter, as we all know, we don't need a big transformation, right? We just need a place to begin. So now, if you're navigating change with intention and you're craving that quieter, more thoughtful space, I want to invite all of you into the Next Chapter Salon, which is a private Substack community for women 50 plus who want clarity, they want steadiness, they want self-trust in this chapter of life. And they want that community that connection and community with other like-minded women. There's a link below, and I invite all of you to join me. I'd love to have you be a part of the Next Chapter Salon. I've got so many fun things planned for it in the coming year, this 2026, that I know you're going to love. So thank you again for spending this quiet moment with me, and I'll see you in our next chapter. A biento. Until next time.